Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about My Hero Academia ending and how Horikoshi failed, honestly. And this isn't someone's coming because I'm trying to hate on My Hero Academia or the fandom or whatever, because even though I watched My Hero Academia, I was always more behind in the fandom itself. So just recently reading these chapters or whatever, it was kind of disappointing, honestly. And the reason why is because the hypocrisy of opening up the story, talking about this is the story of how I became a hero, became the world's greatest hero. Then to all of a sudden go back and say it's a story about how all of us became the world's greatest hero. No. Because Hiroshi done fell into that whole subversion of expectations shit. And that's a problem with a lot of these new mangaka artists, where they subvert the expectations that fans have, but not in a good way. It's falling into that Western sensibility of when they like to subvert our expectations, where you know what the obvious ending or the obvious choices should be, but yet you don't make those choices. What? And then wasn't the whole purpose of the new generation to learn and be better and be stronger than the old generation, right? Okay, so how the hell do you have Tomura Shigaraki, who has the power of all for one, right? And yet Deku with one for all can't defeat him without giving one for all up to him in order for his body to be overwhelmed. It doesn't make logical sense. And that's coming from a person who read comic books. So remember, this is supposed to be a manga about superheroes. So if we're going to do superheroes, let's treat this like as if this was a superhero book. If this was a DC or Marvel book, there is absolutely no way, if you're going to have a hero sacrifice themselves, powers, abilities, or whatever, you better make sure it better be for some good purpose. Like, it has to take them and the villain out at the same time. There is no, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because if it was like a suit that Deku was wearing, understandable. You know what I'm saying? If he lost something where he can't access his powers anymore, because I know at first he lost his arm or whatever, but then Eri rewind his body back or whatever and stuff like that. But it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, okay, but still, if you're going to make him lose one for all and all for one, then there shouldn't be nothing coming after that. Once he does that, that's it. You know, once he gives up and overwhelms Shigaraki, him, all for one, any other villain should have been done right then and there. That's how I have to look at it as a person who read comic books and seen this kind of trope of the hero sacrifice. Or at least if you're going to have Deku do something like that, it has to be in a blaze of glory, where when the rubble and everything is cleared, Deku is standing tall like All Might was when he defeated All for One. Because honestly, it makes Deku and Shigaraki weak in comparison to All Might and the original All for One, because they literally fought many a times, and all those times All Might defeated All for One without the quark multipliers on him. So if All Might can do it with just smash powers, how come Deku can't do it with all of the powers? You get what I'm saying? You get how it kind of don't make the sense God gave, right? So I don't know. I find it very strange that they are trying to subvert our expectations or whatever. And don't get me wrong, in anime and manga, this trope does happen, but usually under better pretenses. This doesn't have good pretenses, because you built up this battle between Deku and Shigaraki, and yet still, at the end of the day, Deku ends up in the beginning of the series, to the point where it's proven when people were saying that a quirkless person can't be a hero, because he can't. He literally can't. And y'all showed it. Y'all proved the whole message of, if you're quirkless, you can't be a hero. But what you should have been doing is showing that with hard work and training that you can be a hero. That's what My Hero Academia should have been. Because if you're going to give the character this power, and then you're going to you don't make him suffer in order to train and get better like All Might, then I expect him to actually finish off with having All for One and One for All, maybe merging into Deku, finding that Deku is the perfect vessel for these powers, and then that's it. And then you jump into the future where Deku is still saving the day, married to Ochaka, because that's what it should have been, because you did lead it up. And that's not me shipping or whatever. You can just tell by their interactions that they like each other. You know? So it's okay for, even though shonen is not romance or whatever, it's okay for characters to still end up with people at the end of the day, especially a hero. You want the hero to get the girl at the end of the damn series. So that's another failure on Hiroshi. Like, you said you was inspired by DC and Marvel for some of your work, but you didn't take their fundamentals with you at all. Honestly, it felt like you were more all hype than anything else. What would have even made a little bit better, more sense is, let's say for One for All users all went inside of All for One. Okay, now remember that Stars and Stripe girl died, with her quirk, changing her quirk to, mess up Tomura, right? Okay, so what should have happened is, once they get inside, Stars and Stripes should have been able to, the spirit of her should have been able to, now when the quirks go inside of Shigaraki, it does destroy all of the quirks or whatever and stuff like that, including all the amps that All for One gave him. And then what should have happened is, at the end, all of them come back alive, resurrected. That's what should have happened. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, what? Yeah, but remember, we're talking about superheroes. So characters just dying and never coming back? No, it's not believable. Not believable. Some characters gonna need to come back, especially when you have a ability like this. So what should have happened is that Stars and Stripe, along with the quirk users, should have been the ones to be able to defeat Tomura in the end, which gives Deku the ability that he needs, but it also brings them back. But what happens is, all of their abilities and stuff are now inside of Deku permanently. Deku is like the perfect vessel for All for One and One for All. And then you have those heroes coming back, being able to live their lives or whatever, understanding that this is a second life as a thank you for everything that they've done. And you have Deku finally in Shigaraki, and then, like I said, the world knows who Deku is. Deku is this famous hero, and you kind of end the series right there. And like I said, you do a time skip. You have Deku and them. You have Deku with Ochaka. They have kids or whatever, and then he sees a kid who's kind of quirkless but looks up to Deku because he remembers him from the war or whatever, and then Deku decides to go another route of like, okay, I'm not going to tell him he can't be a hero, because now we can train people who don't have quirks to be heroes, to still, you know what I'm saying? Because realistically, there's going to be people without powers that's going to step up to save the day. That's what heroes are supposed to inspire them to. So you're going to meet another quirkless character like him, who loves superheroes, who wants to become a superhero, and Deku's going to pass on him that he can be a good hero. and he's going to train him to become the new hero while still being the greatest hero of all time. That's what you should have did for an ending. Not this, oh, they jumped 8 years into the future. Deku is now quirkless. He's a teacher. Him and his friends, they haven't been able to see each other for a long time because, reasons, right? And then not only that, then you have him getting a suit from them because it took years of whatever, and then the suit that he has is the reason why he's able to become a hero again. And the suit that they gave him is the same prototype suit that All Might used to face off against All for One when he came back and stuff like that. So what was the point? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't translate. It doesn't translate. And I'm not trying to say, Hiroshi's a terrible person or whatever. No, I'm not gonna say all of that. But what I'm saying is the hype and the measurable promise that you kind of brought for my hero was undercooked because you kind of did the whole subversion of expectation. That's what you did, Hiroshi. No matter what anybody want to say, you did the whole Western subversion of expectations, and it turned out wrong, honestly. And it makes you be like, damn, can the anime fix the ending? Fix the damn ending where he doesn't lose All for One. You get what I'm saying? Because you have the opening of Deku talking about, this is a story about how I became the world's greatest hero. It is talked about several times in the story, and for it not to be that, for him to go back when you kind of made him part of the Trinity, the future Trinity, where it was him, Bakudo, and Todoroki. Like, come on now, that doesn't make logical sense. You don't nerf your main character after promising the world to him. It's the kind of like the same nonsense that people was mad about when you did the whole Kaguya, not him, but it's the whole thing about Naruto when you brought in Kaguya at the last minute. When you stop building up these villains where you have all these characters to sacrifice themselves just for a surprise villain. Hell, not even DC and Marvel do that. They tried that a couple of times, and the fans was like, absolutely the fuck not. If you're going to have a villain as the main villain who's going to stop people or whatever and stuff like that, guess what? That's the villain. Because what the villain would do is they send henchmen. You should have just made henchmen happen instead of having Todoroki and Tomura and Deku fighting multiple times throughout the series, and we were promised the final battle, but only for Tomura to be overtaken by All for One. No, that's definitely not how that shit work, especially for Deku to give up the power. Because it's just dumb. What should have happened, because now, if you never introduced the other quirks or whatever, and the stackable abilities of All for One, then if Deku did give up All for One for all, then it would make just a little bit more sense. But because you introduce all these powers and abilities, and because Tomura was getting all these amps by One for All, yes, I expect Deku to be able to defeat him with all those quirks that he already had without breaking a sweat. I mean, well, still breaking a sweat, but without having to be like, oh, I got to give up all my quirks in order to stop Tomura. No, just because you want to still save him, okay, great, he can still save him without doing dumb shit like this. You get what I'm saying? And once again, I'm not trying to be one of those people like, oh my god, I think My Hero Academia is the worst thing. I don't think it's the worst thing out there. I just think that it over promised and under delivered, if that makes sense. That's what I think. I don't want nobody to be like, oh, I'm just some hater, because I actually enjoy My Hero Academia for what it is. But what I'm saying is that I also understand, like, if you're going to tell a story like this, especially superhero stories, which follows certain things that I would want you to follow, then you need to kind of make it make sense. That's all I'm saying, you know. But I can see why some people didn't like the ending, or some people do like the ending, and that's understandable. But I didn't like the ending. I thought it was lackluster, and that's just my personal opinion. But I kind of wanted to just come out here right quick just to say that little piece or whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys watch My Hero Academia? Are you still watching My Hero Academia? Did you like the ending? Tell me your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.